guys. We are super excited to have you all listening to our podcast, Hot to Trot, today. And we have the Thoroughbred Breeders Association joining us. Brian Sanfratello and Averie Levanti are here to talk all things breeding with us. And it is going to be a great show. And Averie actually used to be our intern for PHRA. So we're going to...
You just start at intern. Oscar!
And fun fact, Averie actually used to be our intern at PHRA. So we are going to put her in the hot seat. Well, I want to find out who is the better boss, me or Brian.
Oh, I'm for sure having her rate you guys because I can't wait to hear who she's going to say was the better boss.
Well, we're going to kick it off with the breeders, and I hope you guys enjoy. Welcome to Hot to Trot. We have Brian Sanfratello, the Executive Director of the Thoroughbred Breeders Association of Pennsylvania. And we also have Averie Levanti, the Executive Coordinator for the Breeders Association, and also former PHRA intern.
We have lots of questions for you, Averie, and I have a good one for you later on, since you worked for PHRA and now work for Brian.
You're going to be put in the hot seat a lot, Averie.
Okay.
We have too much dirt on you not to.
Poor Averie. All right, let's get started. Brian, talk to us a little bit about the thoroughbred breeding industry. You know, you just wrapped up here in PA with the PA sired stakes and everything. So how was the year?
The year was fantastic. We'll probably, with the help of the two horsemen's groups in Pennsylvania, we'll probably pay over $30 million in breeders awards, stakes, restricted races, owner bonuses, etc. So we had a real good year. Our PA Sired Series, stake series, was in full swing this year, and we just finished it up with two $200,000 stakes races, one for boys and one for girls long. So getting those 2-year-olds off to a quick start and getting money back to the breeders was something that was important to our organization. The amount of money that you put out as a breeder to get a horse ready, you would like to get as much money back as soon as you can. So again, it's been a fantastic year, and we look forward to 2024.
Talk to us a little bit about the benefits of breeding in PA.
Well, the main benefit is that you're going to receive additional money over the regular purses that you would normally receive for racing. So, for an example, let's say you ran in a $50,000 race. Let's say main special weight, an open race. If you won that race, you'd get 60% of that $50,000, which would be $30,000 if I did my math right. If you are a member of the organization and you registered your horse, you would get that $30,000. You'd get an additional 40% at Parks as an owner bonus, and at Penn it would be 25%, and Prescott would be 30% on top of that. And then you'd get your breeder award, which, if you were PA sired, would be 40% added onto that. If you're not PA sired, 20% added onto that. So you're gonna basically get almost the whole purse if you are registered as a PA bred. So it's fantastic for breeders. As you know, it's in the breeding business, getting the money back that you put out sometimes is a challenge. So this helps put you over the top.
Definitely pays to breed in PA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you guys have a lot of nice studs coming here that are new this year too, so I think that's exciting. Avery, we talked a little bit about you coming from the PHRA and now you're working obviously in the thoroughbred breeding industry. What's your favorite part and kind of how did you end up wanting to work on the breeding side of things?
Honestly, my favorite part is getting to know everyone. Uh, just I've really gotten to know a lot of our breeders and just uh, being able to communicate with them and help them out is I really enjoy that. I knew that I'm from Pennsylvania, so I knew that I wanted to work in my home industry if I could. So I honestly just got really lucky that that there was a position that opened up as soon as I graduated college at PHPA because and I had had someone ask me I was having a hard time finding a job my senior year. I was getting close to graduation and I had someone ask me like, "Well, what would your ideal job be?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe something like I know I wanted to do something in an office, which is it can be kind of difficult to find a job like that in this industry unless you work up to that point." But one of the things I said was I would like to work for a horse breeders association. So the fact that it all worked out the way it did really was was just super convenient. I love the breeding industry in general. I think it's extremely interesting. Like you're just trying, it's like a puzzle and you're trying to find the right combination. So the fact that I was able to come home and work in my home industry and do something that I really enjoy, I was just really lucky and I like doing it every day.
And you get to work with Brian.
The correct answer was working with me.
Of course.
That was the correct answer.
I see.
Brian, what's your favorite part of the breeding industry?
I just think being involved in crafting the program and helping the breeders with incentives and meeting everyone in the industry and getting some time to know and understand it better is really, I guess, the most important thing for me.
I also think, Brian, I kind of want to shout out, you're really great with the politics end of horse breeding. I don't think many people know how many hours you spend in Harrisburg making sure that, the Horseman Development Fund is being protected and, doing the footwork and meeting the legislators and letting, you know, those lawmakers know about what our industry brings to Pennsylvania as a commonwealth.
Yeah, it's super important to develop relationships with people that are members of the legislature to understand. So just that constant going over with them how important our industry is to Pennsylvania is super important. And the turnover over the past 5 years or so, I think about half of the legislative group is new over the past 5 years. So just updating and keeping them going, and being a member of the Equine Coalition with the horsemen's groups and the standardbred people has really helped get the message across.
Yeah, you guys do a great job, and I definitely have learned a lot going up to Harrisburg with you guys and getting to participate in some of those meetings and things. So I appreciate it. I definitely look up to you and have copied a couple things that you say when trying to educate people about the industry. So I have a question for both of you. What is your favorite PA bred race that runs?
Mine, I think, is the nursery because you get to see all the newer horses, the 2-year-olds, and you always think about, hey, could one of these be running in the Kentucky Derby someday the following year? So that's my favorite race. I like all the stakes races, but again, that's probably my favorite.
Yeah, I think I was going to say the same thing, just because it's exciting to see 2-year-olds. They're kind of not. It's late in the season; they're about to turn 3, and so it's like you're kind of seeing who's starting to separate themselves from the rest. And I love the baby races. I love the 2-year-old. I'd probably have to say the nursery as well.
Yeah, yeah. And the Sire Series, has really been a lot of fun. Um, we're trying to attract mares into Pennsylvania and stallions into Pennsylvania, and I think it's helped this year in bringing some horses in, some stallions in. So
Now, do you guys have a favorite PA bred horse of all time? Brian, you've probably watched a lot go from all these years. Do you have a favorite?
um, Caravel's been great. I can't put my finger on one favorite. Caravel's been great. Angel of Empire was really fantastic to watch. We went to Avery, myself, and a couple others. Went to Kentucky, had a great time there. Finished third, but hey, it was a great race, and winning the Arkansas Derby. It was a lot of fun, but we've had some Eclipse Award winners over the past years. You have to think that that Smarty Jones was fantastic to watch and did a super job. So there's a lot. Recently, Caravel and the Angel of Empire.
Avery, I think I know yours.
Yeah, mine's pretty easy. So this is all time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's definitely Princess of Silmar, and I have one of her saddle cloths up there on the Kentucky Oaks in 2013, and she'll probably always be my favorite horse of all time, PA bred or otherwise. Just because I fell in love with her and really got to know her breeder owners, the Stankos. They were incredibly nice people, and it really opened a lot of doors for me to get kind of my first job in the industry. So I'll always owe her a lot.
Oh.
Yep, and dealing with the Stanko group was really fantastic. Ed was a great guy, and his other partners were really great while all this was going on.
That's awesome. So, Brian, we'll go with you first. How did you actually end up in the racing industry? Because I know you have a past where you weren't quite in the industry before. Like you were in the military for one, which I always found was like super interesting that you're a veteran. So thank you for your service. But what led you down this path?
Well, it was kind of, I guess you could call it funny. My wife and I really were not involved in racing. When I got out of the service, I taught for a few years, and I was in the insurance business. And what happened was friends of ours went to the racetrack every Saturday, so we started going along with them, and we talked about owning a horse. And I said, to him, what do you think? How much money, etc. And what happened was we said, well, we'll give it a shot. We'll claim a horse. We want to go with a trainer that we can trust. An old Kentucky trainer, Marty Fallon, was suggested to us, who was just a fantastic horseman and a great guy. My daughter never forgives me because instead of putting in a swimming pool at our house, we invested in a horse. So that's how we originally got started. I was, very lucky. The first horse that I bought at the 2-year-old sale wound up winning a couple stakes races. I said, boy, this is really easy. This is fantastic. When she was done, we said, we'll breed her and she'll crank out babies that are going to be just like her. And it'll be an annuity. Well, as everyone has been in the business for quite some time, it doesn't work like that. And although she did produce a couple very good runners, that's how we got hooked into the business. I wanted to make sure that I tried to give back a little to Pennsylvania by joining the Pennsylvania Horse Breeders Association. and was involved in that since like 2001, and then went through the different chairs, served as president for 5 years, and then became the executive director in 2014. So that's how I got where I am.
Quite a journey. Now, Averie, you've told me your story a couple times, which is actually a very unique, because you got into it as a fan really young. Share with our listeners your story.
Yeah, I mean, I have no ties whatsoever to the industry also. No family, nothing like that. It honestly was just kind of like a whim. I was at the mall and we were passing by a Barnes and Noble, and I wasn't planning on buying anything, but Bill Nack's book on Secretariat was in there, and the movie had come out a couple months before that, and I hadn't seen it yet because at that point I was like very very intent on always reading books before seeing movies. So I was like, oh, I just kind of like bought it, like wasn't planning on buying a book that day, but I did and whatnot. So I just kind of got wrapped up in that, and it all just and here I am 13 years later, still doing it. So I think a lot of people would just be another phase, but it must be a pretty long phase because it's been over half my life at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say you never outgrew your horse phase. That's what
Nope,
happened.
never
No,
outgrew my.
just to tell you a funny story. I'm at Penn National a few years back, and this teenage girl comes up to me and says, can I get a saddlecloth? I want a PA saddlecloth so I can put it up in my dorm room." So lo and behold, it turns out to be Averie, and we
Is
met up a few years later. It's probably there now, and
Yep.
in her apartment. So it's just funny how you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Do you guys have a favorite memory in PA racing?
I don't know. I mean, in terms of like actually NPA, I always like our events. Like I love our day at the races. In terms of in relation to a horse, I mean, when Caraval won at Breeders' Cup, I was there. That was a huge upset and totally unexpected. So that was a lot of fun. And then also when Princess of Silmar won the Kentucky Oaks, I mean, I was 14 years old, and I was actually at Six Flags that day, and I had stopped to watch the race. And when she upset that race, I had gone like running through Six Flags, just screaming my head off. And no one had any idea what I was talking about because we were like in 8th grade, and I was the weird kid that liked horse racing. Um, but yeah, I'd probably say that. I mean, Caravel was definitely up there just because, like I said, like she was what 40 to 1, and didn't have any expectations, and she was a horse that I'd love for a really long time. And I actually have a tweet from I think it was May of 2021 saying Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint winner Caravel, and she ended up winning in 2022. So I like to say,
Oh, we're going to be checking in on next year's pick from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy the some of my favorite moments are at the PHBA banquet, because everyone gets together and you get to meet people that you may not know. And we've had some great guest speakers at the banquets, and it's just a real fun time. And just giving out the awards, and you see how how people are so happy that they won a champion award, or they won a stake, etc. Just seeing their faces, etc., is great to me. So I enjoy that every year.
I like going too. You have great food. That's my number one. And then it's usually around Mother's Day, and you give all the women roses, and I think that's the sweetest thing.
Thanks.
I enjoy that.
That probably wasn't my idea. The roses
Probably Averie's.
probably was Averie's idea.
I liked it a lot. So is there a stallion that isn't currently in PA that you would like to see stand in PA?
Does Tappet count?
I think we would all love that, right?
No, I saw him. We saw him when we were in Kentucky recently because we have our auction that's January 15th, the stallion season auction, January 15th to the 21st. So we were in Kentucky talking to some of the stallion managers. It was kind of neat seeing him there. I don't think there's any one particular stallion. I know that in order for Pennsylvania to continue to move forward, we need some good regional stallions here. So anyone that any stallion that would fit that bill would be great for PA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Averie?
I agree. I mean, I don't really have like one that I could pin down other than like the wildly unrealistic ones. But I'd say like any stallion that's, he's doing all right, not really like knocking it out of the park in Kentucky, but he has, a good family. He's by a nice sire himself, that would do much better in a regional market. Those are kind of the ones that you like to look for. I mean, we have Warrant coming in this year. He is new. It's not like he came from Kentucky, but he's by Constitution, who is a great young sire. So I'm really interested to see what type of what reception he gets from the breeders here, just because it's nice to have a horse like that come in with a nice family as well. So I don't really have like one specific in my mind, but just those ones that are kind of just like hanging low in Kentucky, but they have a lot of potential to really improve in a regional market.
Mm-hmm. When we posted the article about Warren, I was like, this horse is gorgeous. If I had a thoroughbred, this is who I'm breeding to. I love a nice red. What can we expect from PA bred, coming up in 2024? Do you guys have anything planned? Day at the races again? Anything new coming this year?
Yeah, we'll be doing our PA Day at the races, which we give $1 million in purse money out for that day. We'll have our banquet again this year. The PA Sired Series will continue this upcoming year. We also have added two 3-year-old races to the PA Sired Series. So now, if you are PA sired, you have the availability as a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 3 and up to actually be involved in stakes races just for PA sired horses. So that's kind of neat, and we're looking forward to that.
Awesome. So now we're going to start moving away from all of these really hardcore industry questions and get into some fun questions for you.
So you're finished with me now?
Oh no, Brian, you need to stay.
Nice try.
Averie, what do you like to do other than horse racing in your spare time?
I mean, the thing that in terms of, I wouldn't call it a hobby, but I always say like I like horse racing, and then my one human sport is I like basketball, specifically college basketball. So like this is like it's college basketball season right now, so I like on the weekends, like I'm pretty much just watching basketball. I mean, so I'm a big Kentucky fan, but I just like the sport in general. So, I mean, I like to go to games like that during the winter, and it kind of works. Like I like to say, like it's perfect because the college basketball season starts the Monday after Cup. So for me, it's like I kind of just switch gears, like because Breeders' Cup, it's like like horse racing is all year long, but it kind of winds down after Breeders' Cup. So then I go from Breeders' Cup and then I jump right into that, and then it goes up until like a month before the Kentucky Derby is when the season ends. So it's like it's kind of like my hibernation from horse racing in the winter. Like I go my basketball zone. So I like to say it works out perfectly, like the way they the calendars are.
Did you play basketball?
Not really. I mean, like middle school if that counts, but it's just in Kentucky, it was hard not to fall in love with that culture.
Mm.
It is so big there. I mean, they don't have any professional sports in the state of Kentucky, so college sports are a big deal in Kentucky, especially basketball at the University of Kentucky. So it was something that I just fell in love with. Um, and I like to go down for a game at least once a year, and so I try to go to a couple games a year. But I mean, that's really my big thing. I'd say like those are my two main things. I really don't have much outside of that. It sounds kind of boring, but those are my two main things. Um,
Hey, that's
I mean,
cool.
I do photography, but it is mostly around horse racing. So
Yeah.
How about walking your cat? Is why
I, I, I do like to walk. I usually walk every day if the weather is nice, but I don't think that they would appreciate if I took them with me.
Oh, sorry.
Well, wait, I have a funny story. Averie went with us to the Masters and stayed in our hotel room with me and Jalen, and she didn't finish getting her steps in. So she literally paced the hotel room for 40 minutes.
I did. I went for a walk. I did go for a walk that night. Remember?
Oh, yeah, you did go for a walk, but then you came back and you're like, I'm not there yet. And we just sat there in the bed and just watched her.
Tag on me, and I just like walked around the little neighborhood around the hotel. Yeah, but then I think I was pacing a little bit at the end of the night in the hotel room.
was this
Yep.
before? Was this before or after you ate at the Cracker Barrel?
Oh.
Oh,
This was
don't
before.
start.
This was before.
It was traumatizing. I haven't eaten at Crackle Barrel since. When this girl gets hangry, it's no one to mess with. Brian, you probably know because you've traveled with her.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We were in Kentucky. I said we wanted to get something quick to eat. I said, "Where do you want to go?" She said, "Cracker Barrel." I said, "Cracker Barrel." I said, "Okay." We went.
Why do you like Cracker Barrel?
I just like their breakfast. Their all day breakfast is really good.
I think they're the worst.
She was texting me, are you bringing back the Crackle Barrel? Are we eating Crackle Barrel? We're getting Crackle Barrel, right? I'm like, Avery,
Actually,
you were hangry.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. We all get that. All right. Brian, what do you like to do in your spare time?
Well, I love the beach. My wife and I will, go as much as we can, and we like spending time with the family. We're Disney freaks, and with the grandkids, we have 8 grandchildren. So with the grandkids, we'll usually hit Disney at least once a year to spend some time there, and then a little time relaxing when we're not at the park. But that's probably it's great because it gives my wife and I the chance to really bond with with the grandkids. So that's great. We don't care what the kids do now; it's the grandkids.
I know the grandkids always take over. What's your favorite place in Disney then? What park do you like to go to?
I like Epcot the best.
Mm-hmm.
You can do a lot there. You can try to drink around Epcot, which is one drink in each country. I usually don't make it all the way around, but
You haven't?
I
Have you
used to when I was
tried?
younger. When I was younger, I could make it.
That's awesome. And what's your favorite place to eat at Disney? So many like good food choices there.
I mean, I like Le Cellier for the steak, but my kids tease me all the time because I really like the atmosphere in sci-fi, where you go in there and they show the old horror pictures. It's like a drive-in theater,
Mm-hmm.
and my kids tease me about that all the time. Dad, they got the worst food there. I said, what's the atmosphere?
I do like the little cars, but I did see a TikTok the other day that was rated one of the worst places to eat, along with the 50s diner, which I used to love that one when I was younger and went that where they're mean to you, like your cousin serves you meatloaf.
Right, right.
Averie, you have brought a very unique fashion sense to these big races. I know when I can find you. when I'm at a track and I'm looking around. You're in your signature look. Tell us how your signature look is and how it came about.
I don't know. I mean, I like to dress nice for the most part. So if the weather is according, I will usually wear a dress. But since I'm a photographer, I mean, I have my feet in the dirt, like I'm crossing the track and whatnot. So, I tend to wear boots. So like for a while I had rain boots. I kind of changed into like muck boots. I have like another pair of shoes now that they used to be my old work shoes that I accidentally ruined when Caravel won at Breeders' Cup. I got them covered in dirt, so they kind of turned into like my like track shoes now. So I do have those instead of like my muck boots, but it's usually the dress and the muck boots and then some sort of hat, like a baseball hat.
Baseball hat is the
Yeah.
top.
That's usually the fit. So
You're starting a trend. I like it.
yeah.
She's got her fashion day outfits. She picks them out accordingly.
I like it. Well, Avery, I've been dying to ask you this question, and you can rate them 1 to 10 if you want. But who was the better boss here, Brian or Ashley?
Can you read this, Avery?
I don't know.
Cheers.
Honestly, like you're both pretty chill to work for, I'd say. Um I don't know. I guess I could both give you all like an 8. Is that fair?
Oh,
What?
you guys get an 8.
We get an 8.
Get an 8?
That's like a B plus.
Is that fair? An 8, an 8.5, yeah.
I don't know. Ashley, Brian, rate her. What are you thinking?
I'd have to rate her probably somewhere around a 2. No, I'd have to rate her pretty close to the top. I don't know of anyone with the knowledge in breeding and racing that she has for such a young age.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just been great in as part of our team at the horse breeders, and and she does everything. I mean, she takes pictures. She does a lot of putting together of our reports. She really, she really is, right up there. I probably couldn't have hired someone any better
You're welcome.
than her to do that.
I gifted her to you. And I take all the credit. No. I definitely rate Avery.
Except for the one thing that you probably didn't teach her, and that was making a to-do list. Other than it's an head. Other than that, she is fantastic.
Yeah, we had to repeat things a couple times. She's a little forgetful sometimes.
I feel you, Avery. It's okay.
I'd rate her very high. I used to call her my little encyclopedia of thoroughbred racing. Like I could ask her something and she could just wheel off the horse, the sire, the mare, the races they ran, when they ran, what they won. And I would just be like, okay, I feel very inferior. But I do say she is late, Brian. We both discussed that. She constantly runs.
I might be a little chronically late.
I heard Ashley taught you that, though. That's what Brian said, so it's Ashley's fault.
No, Donnell, you know I'm always on time. I'm early. There was times I had to wake Avery up because she would work remotely as she was in college, and I'd be like,
"That's not true.
You weren't up yet."
No,
especially your last semester. You had senioritis so bad.
All right.
Yeah, Bruce Casella and I were when we went down to the Derby. We would say, "Well, what time do we want to leave the hotel? We'll leave the hotel at 6:00. So tell Avery to be ready by 5:30. That way, we made sure that she makes it in time."
Yeah, she makes me so nervous.
I don't like waking up before the sun. But,
oh, girl.
Like either right on time or just like a couple minutes late.
All right. Well, part of Hot to Trot is getting put in the hot seat. So are you ready for the hot seat? It's just rapid fire questions. So the first thing that comes to mind, just fire it off. All right. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Superpower.
I have no idea. I don't know.
How about one that would allow you to live forever?
Okay.
That could be one.
Maybe.
You'd see a lot of stuff.
Avery, you don't have a superpower?
Invisibility? I don't know.
Yeah, I like invisibility. Or strength was my thought.
Invisibility. That way she could sneak into the office with no one seeing her.
I don't know. Maybe I would have to think about that.
I would want to fly, so I wouldn't have to drive to all these locations.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would be nice. I always say, like, I always want to go to, like, certain races, but I don't actually want to drive there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hence, you bum with me.
Yeah, exactly. I never would have wanted to Presque Isle myself, so.
All right. What is your favorite snack / comfort food you go to on a
Ice
bad
cream.
day? What flavor?
Chocolate and coffee.
Ooh, I love coffee
Yeah,
ice cream.
I have a big sweet tooth. I really like cheesecake, but
I have perfected making cheesecakes now. I'm really good at them.
Can't tell me that.
Good.
I'll make you one.
Send one to the office.
Now you're in for it, Donnell. I have not perfected making anything. No
I will
treats.
make them because I really actually like to make them. Okay, what's your favorite NBA basketball team? And Avery, I know you like college, so you can throw college in there instead.
I mean, I have to say Kentucky. Obviously, I can't. I can't say anything other than Kentucky.
Sixers for me.
All right. If you could live in any time period, what would it be and why?
Maybe the 70s, because it was a good time for horse racing.
I would say the 60s, but I really can't remember what they were like. So probably sometime in the future, I think would be cool.
Oh, I agree. First thing you'd buy if you hit the lottery?
A house. A house and then a horse. That's always what I say. A house and then a horse.
I'd buy a farm in Kentucky somewhere.
All right. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Biggest?
I know so many for you, Avery.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. I'm very sensitive to noise. So like any like certain things with noises like that, like certain background, like I can't stand like my upstairs neighbor watches TV so loud. Like I can't stand like this like the noise of TV. So like just kind of things with noise, things like that.
Brian, what about you?
Pet peeves. Definitely when I do something, I want to make sure that I go the extra distance to get it done right. So when I'm working with someone and not necessarily in the office, but anywhere, if that person doesn't feel the same way about it that I do, then that makes me is one of my pet peeves.
Greatest movie of all time?
The Day the Earth Stood Still.
I'm terrible for this question. I'm so not movie cultured. Like I always say that. Like I'm not movie cultured at all. Like I couldn't even give you one, honestly.
Brian, I've never seen that. I'm gonna have to write that down and watch it now.
Yeah, it's an old one. It's an old one with Michael Rennie was the head actor there, but it was an old movie where spaceship lands in Washington D.C. and it was kind of cool.
Well, sci-fi.
Yeah.
I like it. Would you rather live in a boat or in a treehouse?
I hate large bodies of water. Like that's like an of mine. So I definitely wouldn't be on a boat. I don't do boats. I don't do any large bodies of water.
So you'd live in a treehouse?
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt.
Yep, I'd live in a treehouse before a boat. I like going on a boat, but not. I don't think I'd want to live in one. Ever since I've seen Swiss Family Robinson by Disney years and years ago when they had that unbelievable treehouse, that was neat. I'm giving away my age, right? Everything I talk about is old stuff.
I like it. All right, last hot seat question. Which song can instantly lift your mood no matter how bad your day's been? What's your go-to cheerful song? Avery, you're bad with music and movies?
Oh, I know. I'm so not cultured. I don't know.
There's not a Taylor Swift song.
I don't know. Like I say, like with my ADHD brain, I like constantly have some like random song lyrics. It's like cycling through my brain. And I was like, I was gonna like start like a Twitter like like thread like what song lyrics are in my ADHD like repeating like on loop in my ADHD brain. I don't know, it kind of depends, honestly. I don't know. I like listening to like 2000s and stuff like that. Like I honestly don't even listen to like I could not tell you what the number one song on the radio like right now. Like I like listening to like 2000s or even like 2010s. I don't know, just like that like nostalgic throwback music, like which is for me because I'm not that old, but so like 2000 is like throwback for me. So I don't know, anything like that, like anything like that's just like nostalgia, like really from like 10 years ago or 15 years ago or whatever. I don't know.
I would go over all these songs with Avery every once in a while. I said, "Did you ever hear this or did you ever hear that?" And she said, "No, I haven't. I haven't heard it."
I don't know it.
What's your go-to song, Brian?
Two Tickets to Paradise, Eddie Money. In fact, it's been a custom where everyone that gets married in my family, I actually sing that song at the wedding. So it's it's a kind of cool thing that happens. I used to play guitar in a rock band years ago.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I want pictures. And do we have you singing this song on video that you can share with us?
We want to see it.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'd have to get one, but I'm sure somebody took a picture of it.
Oh my
Brian,
gosh.
you've done it all. I learned you were into Disney. Now you're in a rock band.
Everything.
Wild.
Brian's much more multifaceted than I am. This is my cat.
Yeah, Avery, do better.
Avery has her cats.
I have my cats. Yep, my sons.
Well, thank you guys. That wraps up the hot seat. You tolerated it well. I appreciate it and appreciate you guys being on today. And thank you so much. It's been fun getting to know you better and getting to learn more about the breeding program here in Pennsylvania for the thoroughbreds. And I had a lot of fun. Donnell?
Yeah, thank you guys so much for being guests on Hot to Trot. So we appreciate it.
It's been fantastic. Hopefully you'll continue to move on with the series. I watched the first taping that you did, and really was great. It gives people an idea to learn more about the business, and also know that the people that are involved in it are regular people just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, they drop every Friday, so stay tuned.
Thank you guys. Have a good day.
Thank you.
At this time, we'd like to thank one of our sponsors. Thank you to the Meadows Standardbred Owners Association. The MSOA is horsemen helping horsemen located at the Meadows Racetrack in Washington, PA. You can keep up with all things Meadows Racing at meadowsharnessracing.com.
Well, that's it for this episode of Hot to Trot. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We had a blast putting everybody in the hot seat, and we hope you guys did too. If there is anyone that you want to see us put in the hot seat, or if you have any questions you would like to see us ask, please send them over to hottotrot@penhorseracing.com. Just submit them to our email, and we'll be happy to line up those interviews and ask those questions.
Heck yeah, but make sure to follow us on social media too. Hot to Trot now has its own TikTok page, so make sure you're following it. Ashley and I are always making fun content, so follow us on all our social media platforms and keep listening to these episodes of Hot to Trot. We're having so much fun.
We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for listening, and thank you to the Standardbred Breeders of Pennsylvania for sponsoring Hot to Trot. We'll see you next time.